are marching, ooh, we are marching in the light of life. We are marching, ooh, we are marching in the light of hope. 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 We are marching, ooh, we are marching in the light of hope. We are marching, ooh, we are marching in the light. Do that last part again. We are marching, we are marching, ooh, we are marching in the light of hope. We are marching, ooh, we are marching in the light of hope. Welcome to Church in Ocean Park. Thanks for being here. Everybody, find a good seat. Yeah.
Welcome to the Church in Ocean Park. Yes. My name is Janet Gollery McKithen. I'm the minister here at the Church in Ocean Park, and I welcome you to this place of, which is a multi-religious interfaith congregation. So you're welcome if you're Jewish, if you're Muslim, Hindu, Ifa, Buddhist, Christian, atheist, or some combination or something I didn't mention. You're welcome if you're single, married, divorced, gay, widowed, transgender, non-binary, or queer. You're welcome if you have abundant resources and can share it and help each other out, or if each day is financially stressful for you. We welcome you if you're fidgety or if you're very focused. We need all kinds of people in all kinds of ways. You're welcome if you just woke up or you just got out of jail. We don't care if you're more religious than the Pope or if you haven't been to the mosque since before the pandemic. We welcome soccer moms, tree huggers, latte sippers, vegans, junk food eaters. We also welcome you if you're in recovery and you're still addicted. We welcome you if you like organized religion and you had fun coming in and seeing the windows and you just like being in a place like this, or if you're repelled by organized religion and have been hurt by it. We hope that you'll find this to be a place of healing and of hope. And we thank you for your courage of walking up the stairs. We welcome you if you're having problems or if you woke up soaring on the wings of eagles, or a little bit of both. Sometimes we're a combination of emotions. We welcome you no matter your ability, where you were born, what papers you may or may not have. You don't need to prove you have worth here at the Church in Ocean Park. You are sacred just the way you are. You are welcome here. This is a unique multi-religious community focused on helping to create a more just and equitable world. We want to begin by acknowledging that we are sitting on stolen land. It is taken violently from the Chumash, the Quiche, and the Tongva peoples. We acknowledge the harms of genocide, forced assimilation, enslavement, and destruction at the hands of U.S. settler colonialism. We also acknowledge that our communities and our country was built on the backs of people who were stolen from Africa, placed into bondage, and then forced into labor, and that labor has never been repaid. We also acknowledge that we have allowed an authoritarian government. This seems so pity right now. Obviously, we've allowed an authoritarian government to take over our country, kidnap people off the streets. Doesn't matter if they're kids, children, or they're adults, or whatever they are, throw them away as if they are useless. We've allowed that to happen in our country. And so we acknowledge that, and we work to make that better each and every day. We also acknowledge that our country is committing travesties in other lands, and particularly now with the war in Iraq, which happened, a lot of the atrocities of that war happened during the sacred month of Ramadan, which is unconscionable. There continue to be more and more ways that our country seems to find to hurt other people. And so we work at the Church in Ocean Park to help create a more equitable world. You might hear, you're going to hear different views of different peoples this morning, and you may disagree with something that you heard. And just know that your voice is just as important as whoever it was that just spoke. Whether it's me, anybody up here, or anybody sitting, or you've been here one time and you disagree with what's said, that doesn't mean your idea is wrong. That means that we need to hear what you have to say, and maybe we can grow from that. So, welcome to the church in Ocean Park. We're really glad that you're here. We will hope to learn from you. We begin with a Thich Nhat Hanh chant. I have arrived. I am here I am home in the here and in the now. I have arrived, I am home in the here and in the now 3 times. Let's take a deep breath. All that singing, deep breath. I have arrived. I am home in the here and in the now. I have arrived. I am home in the here and in the now. I have arrived. I am home in the here and in the now. Welcome to the church in Ocean Park. Our speaker this morning, Micah Train, well, I don't know if that's the person's real name, but that's the person's name that I relate to. When you're on Signal, I think it might be Meb, has a migraine, is not able to be here, and some of you are here to hear Micah, or even, I don't know the name, this might be Mika, because I've never heard the name actually pronounced. That's what happens when you're all on Signal and you just talk about, that's how you communicate. But we have people here who are involved in the Rapid Response Network and Westlows, and so we're hoping we will be sharing a little bit about what each person does if they want to, whoever would like to. This is also Palm Sunday. Obviously, that's why the palms are here. So this is a Christian tradition called Palm Sunday, and so we'll hear about that today because it is a Christian tradition. This is the start of a week that we call Holy Week in the Christian tradition. And so Dr. Kim is going to start us off.
One of the great things of coming in today actually was hearing people talk about yesterday. That was yesterday. I know how that feels, believe me. So as we're bringing all of those experiences together, did you go out? Where did you go out? Did you have a sign? Was it a good sign? Was it a cool sign? So I'm just going to come around. So who went to a No Kings march and where'd you go? Did you go?
Yeah, I went with my dad and Dari. We went to the Palisades Park, and we ran into some people from the church, and I saw some signs that are, about who Trump is.
I don't know if they were for a family audience or not.
I tried to find you guys. I thought you were going to be by the cannon. No, you were close.
Yeah, they changed the place.
Oh, okay. So I actually thought, oh, there are going to be thousands of people here. So I should just hang my sign. So I made a sign from a sari, those long signs, and it just said Epstein files, and I was very excited. And then I realized there's nobody. But I had a lovely conversation with a woman who lives nearby, and I don't know why we didn't exchange numbers, but it was actually simultaneously, like, where are the people? And it's great. Maybe nonsense should be met with, this is nonsense. I don't know. At some level, I was like, all right, maybe it's nonsense.
You remember? Oh, yeah, okay.
I was in the Palisades Park up by Alta, because that's where they had all the tables and everything. And kind of walked through to see who was there and everything. And then my plan was to take the car down closer to Idaho, because I had heard by that time that Idaho was where people should go. But I couldn't find a parking place.
I got there yesterday late and just kind of free-floated on my own, because it's what I needed to do, not be obligated to a group or anything. Glad I did. And what was amazing to me is to see so many, quote, older folks, unquote. A lot. It was wonderful. And a lot of young people. And I enjoyed a T-shirt that I saw twice that said, I am a white Christian, straight, finance man against Trump.
Okay, so what was it? I'm a white Christian straight finance man against Trump. There you go. Okay. Move a little kid.
Yeah, too. I too was at Palisades Park, although I'll have to mention, I thought I could walk from my house to the thing. And so I got there way late. It was about 45 minutes left in the program when I got there. But I did get a chance to see a lot of people. I heard a lot of interesting things and perspectives as to where we can go from here. And it, prompted me and reminded me of many of the civil rights causes and marches that I had participated in the past.
Right. Thank you. Oh, yes.
I went to Culver City, which was closest to my house. It was like a big block party, and I got the feeling that most of the people there walked from their homes because there really wasn't parking. I did not walk from my house, but I walked. And I thought it was really interesting, particularly in terms of what Craig mentioned about where do we go from here and what's next and what are the broader issues. I went up to a lot of people and told them that I was a communist, and I thought that we needed a whole lot more. We needed changes a whole lot deeper than getting rid of Trump, and got a lot of very good responses and conversations.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you. Okay, and then we'll come over. Then. Okay.
I'm Bob, and yesterday my wife Trudy, my son Will, and I, we went to the protest in Torrance, which has become our place that we always go because they have lots of parking. That's, and it was a huge gathering. It just so happened, we didn't even know this, nor would this have been a great draw, but it was sort of interesting that it just happened that the keynote speaker was the senator from Connecticut, Chris Murphy. So it was sort of interesting to hear him. I agreed and disagreed with him, but it was interesting to see what he was like. Okay.
Okay. And all right, so we got.
I hope in the future they will organize the Santa Monica rallies closer to the bus stops, because some of us believe in or rely on public transportation. So.
Mm-hmm. All right, wait a minute.
Hi, I'm Sylvia. There were a number of us that went to the Singing Resistance gathering at Idaho and Ocean Avenue, and Louise was out of town, but she'd started the Singing Resistance group here at the church, and we all went and sang and had a great upwards of, well, between 30 and 100 people in Giro, kind of around this. So it was good. It was really good. A lot of folks.
Well, the microphone's here. I'm Julie, and I was at Palisades Park, and after listening to the Resistance Singers, I walked down to hear Steve Schmidt, because I was particularly interested in him as someone who comes from a family of Republicans, and I was thinking a lot about the big tent concept and sort of intersectionality and how to reach people, and just find that I liked listening to him and feel like he's standing for something that we really need right now to really build that big tent. So thank you. And I loved hearing the singers. It was great.
So all right. So two more. We could do this all day, and it's not that would be terrible, but
I just want to mention, I took the lift for old people for 75 cents here. Do you all know about that? You can sign up with the senior center and take the lift. So I met a really neat lady that shared the ride with me, and we went to the park together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you want to say something, Artemis? Okay.
I wasn't able to go in person because my back was acting up, but I have a very close childhood friend who was calling for violence at the protests on Facebook, and I had a dialogue with him about his rhetoric and how that wasn't beneficial or helpful for our cause.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. So I wonder, Chris Chapel, turn your head around, because we're going to now, and we can do a little bit more of this maybe during community sharing, right? Okay, so yeah, okay. Well, I was at home with my feet up and ice on my knees yesterday, because that's been sort of what's been going on. But I wonder, after Jesus came into Jerusalem, I wonder if people were having the same conversations. Were you there? Where'd you park your donkey? Or whatever. But what did you hear? What did you see? What was going on? And what's next? So the story, as it's being told in many different Christian churches this morning, coming from the Gospel of Matthew. When Jesus and the disciples drew near to Jerusalem and came to Bethphage on the Mount of Olives, Jesus sent 2 disciples, saying to them, "Go into the village opposite you, and immediately you will find an ass tethered and a colt with her. Untie them and bring them here to me. And if anyone should say anything to you, reply, 'The master has need of them.' And then they will send them at once." So Jesus sent them off, and this happened so that what had been spoken through the prophet might be fulfilled. "Say to the daughter of Zion, behold, your ruler comes to you, meek, and riding on an ass and on a colt, the foal of a beast of burden." And the disciples went, and they did as Jesus had ordered them. They brought the ass and the colt, and they laid their cloaks over them, and he sat on them. The very large crowd that had gathered spread their cloaks on the road, while others cut branches from trees and strewed them on the road. And crowds preceded him with these following words, and they kept crying out and saying, Hosanna. Let me hear you say that, y'all. Come on. Hosanna. Say it again. Hosanna. One more time. Hosanna to the Son of David. Blessed is the one who comes in the name of the Lord. Hosanna in the highest. And when he entered Jerusalem, the whole city was shaken and asked, "Who is this?" And the crowds replied, "This is Jesus, the prophet from Nazareth in Galilee." So, you know, it is great when people get out there. And so, you know, we'll talk a little bit more about it as we go on, about who went yesterday and where'd you go and how'd you get there. That's 75 cents. I got to find out more about that. And what did your sign say? Now, I didn't get to go, but my next door neighbor, he had a big sign with a red arrow on it, and that's all it had on it. And so he held that sign and just pointed it at various people, pointed it at them. It's like, look at their signs, look at their presents. Mm-hmm. Well, I think about the people in the procession in that story about Jesus. The people who heard about him and went out there to see what was going on, they were hungry for healing. They were hungry for peace. They were in occupied Roman territory. They were hungry for some good leadership. Lord have mercy. Just saying. And so they came out to see what was going on. Hosanna to the Son of David. Blessed is the one who comes in the name of the Lord. Who is this? So I think that a question for us today could be, we know people came out. We know the city was shaken. My mom kept calling me going, "I keep seeing Los Angeles. I keep seeing around." I said, "Mom, they're showing all around the world." But she's like, "I keep seeing Los Angeles." Cities and towns, large and small, people were out all over the place asking, "Who is this?" And asking, "What's next? What's next?" And the people said of Jesus, "This is a prophet." What will the people say of us? Are we the prophets? And what are we prophets of? And what comes next? So let's shout our hosannas and then get about the business that we got to get about. Because we know we are prophets of challenge, prophets of healing, prophets of love in our time, prophets of music. I love the fact that singing is back. Hosanna! You know, singing is back. And so as we say, Hosanna, keep on thinking, what's next? How do we get people out to vote? You think we can get as many people as came out yesterday to come out to vote the bastards out? Or to make the bigger changes like Linda was talking about? What comes next? Now, I'm not going to go on much longer, but I got to sing some words from Stephen Schwartz. Now, y'all remember Godspell? Anybody remember when that play was on Broadway? Yeah. There's some of us who are, shall we say, seasoned enough to remember that. He had a great song that he wrote when they were telling the story of Jesus and telling about that procession into Jerusalem, but in a movie, and then they were processing into New York City. But this is what the words said. Come sing with sweet rejoicing. Come sing with love. We're not afraid of voicing all the things we're dreaming of. Oh, high and low, everywhere we go, We can build a beautiful city. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. We can build a beautiful city. Call it out. We'll call it the city of love. So what comes next? What kind of beautiful city are we building? And are we going to build? So keep on going on. And now I'm turning it over to Reverend Janet. Thanks, everybody.
So, thank you so much, Dr. Kim. If you came in late, just the reason our speaker got a migraine this morning, and so that is not able to be here. But one of the ways we are, to follow up on what Dr. Kim just said, one of the ways we are creating a beautiful city is through Westlos and things like that. And some people don't realize what it is, but there is community being built right now in neighborhoods that haven't been built before, and it's not advertised for safety reasons, but people are meeting people in their neighborhood that have never met them before, and people are meeting the people on their local market that they've never met before, and they're saying, "I want to keep you safe. Let's keep us safe together." They're doing that door to door. They're doing that around schools. They're working together, and they're also feeding each other when somebody needs food. So it's a movement that it's very fluid, but it's also very well organized. I was surprised how quickly, when they would find out about another group doing something, they would connect. I also am surprised that they figure out which area is not covered yet, which neighborhood doesn't have this connections going on that they know of. You know, there are connections that we don't know of course. There are neighborhood groups that we aren't aware of. But I would like at this time to have members, people who are involved with Westlos, who are comfortable just sharing their participation, like how are you involved in Westlos? And that would help us to understand how others might be able to be involved. Because I did mention a few of them. There are people we do trainings here. Some people don't know that. We do trainings, Westlos does trainings here for Rapid Response Network, which includes how to go on patrols, what ICE looks like, what ICE cars sometimes look like. If you'd like to give out food, if you'd like to collect food, we are collecting food ourselves here. And I also can get you connected if you want to do court accompaniment, accompanying migrants to their court, which I wouldn't suggest they go at all now. But anyway, at least somebody to go with them. So are there people here who, I know you're involved in Westlos, would like to say something about how you're involved, what you do on behalf of them? You want to, Sylvia? Well, just like, you don't, actually you don't need to, if you don't want to. But Sylvia is very involved in very many different aspects, and people here don't know that, all the things that Sylvia does.
What I'm passing out is...
She's,
sorry. Okay, thanks, Meta. So thanks to Janet and other people who are here. I've become involved in Westlos, and they meet every other Saturday to prepare food bags for families that feel fearful to go out and do grocery shopping. We also do outreach to the business community and to individual neighbors and neighborhoods. Our zone, Santa Monica, is Zone 4. So the city, Westlos has people and is concerned with people everywhere in Los Angeles, but specifically in the area of Sawtelle, Venice, Culver City, and Santa Monica. So if you can, sort of the east side is the 405 freeway, the north is San Vicente, for lack of a better term, the south is Jefferson, down by the airport, and the west is the ocean. So in that big area, that's where most of the activity of Westlos happens. And the chief thing that they do that's a public service is run a hotline. And that's on that little piece of paper that you have. That is the number to call in case you see something suspicious, as in a cluster of cars with dark tinted windows, masked, official-looking, policey types. So those are the kinds of things to really keep an eye out for. And because they've changed tactics recently, they're now snatching individuals. They're creating individual cases. It used to be that they would just go somewhere to like Home Depot and round up a whole bunch of people. Now they're, because of a lot of pushback on the part of the populace and also legally, they're changing their tactics, and they're snatching individual people and targeting individual people. So being able to keep your eye out for people, suspicious vehicles on the street or in what we call staging areas, like a parking lot where several cars would gather and officers, ICE people would get out of the car and talk to each other about how they're going to proceed. Spotting and reporting those things help West Los identify people within their network who can prevent that work. And we've had a few successes as well. So that's all, I guess that's all I'll say at the moment. So,
Thank you.
I just want to share that one of the things that I find very hopeful and empowering is the fact that people are doing this all over. I don't have any little flyers, but I do have the phone number of the rapid response group in Mid-City, right? I'm part of a patrol at Prescott Mid-City magnet school where we stand in front of the gate to watch to make sure that somebody isn't kidnapped when they're dropping their kid off for school. There's a group of people at Village Green where I live who are organizing to do this sort of thing. And one other thing that I've probably shared about here before, but I just can't resist. When things were really hot in Minneapolis, a yarn store in Minneapolis printed on their website a pattern for a hat modeled off of the Norwegian caps that the Nazis made illegal, red knitted caps with a tassel. And they sold they were selling online the pattern for $5 each to give the proceeds to immigrant communities that were affected by the ICE raids. And this took off in knitting circles, and they have raised. The last time I looked, they had raised $750,000 by selling knitting patterns, $5 each, and created a nationwide shortage of red yarn. I just, hope.
Yeah. So, Chris?
Okay. Hi, everybody. I went to a West Los training here at the church back in October, September, something like that. That's how I got involved. The main thing is I really just didn't want people in Santa Monica to pretend like it wasn't happening. That was my main impetus. Most of what I've done and with friends and comrades is go out in networking and community building, right? Most of the time there's not an ICE raid happening, so we're just trying to inform people. Here's the hotline number to call. If you call the hotline number, what will happen, and I don't know if you remember if you said this, Sylvia, is someone will come and verify, because one of the first things I learned was there's a lot more police out there than you think. And they're not all immigration, right? So we get a lot of hotline calls about police and FBI and sheriffs, and we got to verify that those are out. If you've got the handout, I would recommend using the QR code and signing up for Telegram. Yes, it's yet another messaging app. Yes, it is. We use Telegram because you can send messages one way. On Signal, everybody in the group chat can send a message. So Telegram is a one-way channel. If you install that Telegram channel, you will know where ICE has been on the West Side. Factual, correct, no rumors, no gossip, no fear-mongering. This is where they were. This is who they got. That's part of the pitch that I do. The other thing I just wanted to say is, the other thing that has been made perfectly clear to me is, if you have any concerns about the younger generation, you don't need to. You do not need to.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. All right. And I know Lynn has been involved with whistles. We just have a few whistles there. I don't know if you want to say anything about whistles. Like what you can just say it from there if you want. Oh no.
The whistles are just to use if you spot ICE to alert the neighborhood and immigrant people in the neighborhood that stay away. So it's just a loud alert.
Thank you. You said you wanted
I'm glad you mentioned, Linda, Mid-City, because West Los and Mid-City and all of these rapid response networks are connected. So wherever you are in the greater Los Angeles area, and it's everywhere from Riverside to Dana Point to, Ventura and North, they're everywhere. So wherever you are and you report something suspicious, they will get that message to the people who can act on it.
It's easier if people see you.
Everything everybody said, yes, yes, yes. And I'm Julie, and I just want to say that part of how some of us got involved in this originally was some of the folks that are doing really important community work at Virginia Avenue Park to really defend and protect and support and lift up our community, or resident community in that neighborhood and the city writ large, suggested we go to West Los back in the summer. And it's been so interesting to see how they've been evolving. So to the point about younger people and getting organized and mutual aid and doing all the things we've heard about, also using data and collecting data so that when we get to the other side, which we will have information about what's happened to our communities. So I wanted to just give a shout out. I mean, I'm kind of a former government bureaucrat type, and I know that data really can matter. And right now, again, everything's being used against us. But I think it's really important to know these mutual aid groups are very smart about technology and smart about thinking ahead and being strategic as well as responding in the moment. And that's hard to do because sometimes everything everywhere all at once. But they really are doing that, and it's incredibly impressive. So there's a role for everyone. I mean, really, you don't have to be out on the front lines, putting your body out there. You can be doing work to help get the word out, to talk to your neighbors, to hand out cards. There really is a role for everyone. So, and it's been really great to have the church here be a place of sanctuary and safety and coming together. There have been a lot of great meetings, so thank you to Reverend Janet and to all of you.
Thank you. Thank you, Julie. Yeah. So when the Palm Sunday parade was happening, it was happening on the same day as a big a military procession was happening across town. This was the alternative parade, the Palm Springs, the Palm Sunday parade. And they were yelling, as Dr. Kim said, that because they wanted to be saved, they were under oppression, extreme oppression from the Roman Empire. They were under empire oppression. So as some of you know who've read Beyond this, in the story, on Beyond into Easter, that betrayal happens. And so one of the reasons I think that the betrayal happened is because they were just looking for freedom. They were looking for, stop this, like we are. Like, stop this empire from happening. We got to stop this. And Jesus was there. They wanted Jesus to do it. It didn't look like Jesus was going to do it. He's on a donkey, and he's just looking like whatever. It didn't look like it was going well on that way. So they were co-opted into not going back to the Roman Empire. Some of them, like it's kind of like Republicans and Democrats right now who are know that this is wrong, but they're capitulating to Trump's agenda because they were trying to save themselves. So it's kind of, I see the similarity in the Palm Sunday march, trying desperately, please save us, Jesus. And it doesn't look like it's going to do that, not the way they planned or they wanted. So they switched on them and became a part of the Roman Empire, just like people are doing now. So I think the caution I would have to all of us is, the big parade yesterday, it's a kind of the same, so similar in the similar timing, because we got together and we realized so many people are against this guy. We can do it. Let's not let ourselves be recapitulated that by the end of the week we're killing the program. We're killing the movement. Let's not do that. The human part of ourselves wants to just save ourselves, and so whatever helps us is what we would probably want to gravitate towards, and that's what people are doing, and that's why it's still happening, because people keep gravitating to what helps themselves feel more comfortable. And what helps you feel more comfortable is not revolution all the time, but that's what needs to happen. There's a on to Linda's point, somebody came up to me and it was talking about revolution and thought that I was going to flinch. I personally, I think that's what has to happen, and it's true. And so they're very surprised. But it's easier to recapitulate and just be as you always are and do what you always do. And that's all that the Palm Sunday people were doing when they said, crucify him on Friday. They were just they're trying to save themselves. They were in a desperate position, just like people here are today. So there is it is very, very connected to where we are right now, especially at the beginning of Holy Week, to recognize that these people were under extreme oppression of empire, just the way that we are headed, and we are. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. We'll have a moment of silence. No. And then, or we have a song right now, and then we'll have community sharing. Yeah, we'll have a song right now.
Sylvia, are you available? Come on up. But you have to leave at 11? Well, we'll look at the time. Okay. Well, hi. We're both part of the Singing Resistance that we started here, this church. If you're interested, talk to me, because this is a calling. We're singing. I'm totally into it, and Sylvia is too. And she led on Saturday, and singing at the thing. So I want to sing this once or twice, and then we're going to break up, and you're all going to sing it. Okay? So it goes like this. Who keeps us safe? We keep us safe. And then we repeat. Who keeps us safe? We keep us safe. And then we all sing. Our love for our people will conquer hate. Our love for our people will conquer hate. So we're going to say, who keeps us safe? And then they're going to say, we keep us safe. And then we're all going to sing that other part. So let's do it. Okay. And she has to leave, but we can do this. Okay. Who keeps us safe?
We keep us safe.
There you go. Who keeps us safe?
We keep us safe.
All together. Our love for our people will conquer hate. Our love for our people will conquer hate. Come on now. Who keeps us safe?
We keep us safe.
That's right. Who keeps us safe?
We keep us safe.
Our love for our people will conquer hate. Come on. Our love for our people will conquer hate. Let's go. Who keeps us safe?
We keep us safe.
I said, who keeps us safe?
We keep us safe.
Come on now. Our love for our people will conquer hate. Our love for our people will
conquer
One more
hate.
time. Who keeps us safe?
We keep us safe.
Oh yeah. Who keeps us safe?
We keep us safe.
Oh now. Our love for our people will conquer hate. Our love for our people will conquer hate. Our love for our people will conquer hate. One more time. Our love for our people will conquer hate. Woo! Thank you, everybody.
All right. So now is time for community sharing, as if we haven't heard from people so far. This is a moment when you get to make a statement. It doesn't have to be like your permanent statement, your last statement. It could be any kind more casual than that. And or ask a question of Dr. Kim, not me. Don't ask me.
You know, despite going to the protest yesterday and seeing signs and seeing the participation and the crowds and, you know, seeing the news and how many people showed up for this, there's this part of me that can't help but wonder, will that same number go out and vote? You know, like you said, Dr. Kim. Because, yeah, we could be out in the street with the signs, the singing, the this is, the that's. But you know, talking about data, the votes are the data. We need to vote people out and vote in the people we want in office. And you know, I have such mixed feelings because I'm so inspired by, you know, our unity and all this, our community. But I just worry, like, where are the numbers come vote day? And so, yeah, I just feel very mixed.
There was a big one in, you know, downtown LA, and just seeing how much hatred people have, and, you know, it's just maddening of just seeing that and seeing people getting arrested for them showing their anger, and seeing people getting injured.
I talked before about hope, and I have a lot, but I also feel heavy this morning and what Janet brought up about betrayal is hitting very hard. I want to lift up my friend Valentina Gonzalez, whose family in Delano has been dealing, who's the aunt of one of the girls who was abused in the 70s by Cesar Chavez. And that's very heavy. And it's very heavy to know that that behavior was winked at, and the victims were silenced for decades. It's also very heavy to me to know that the entire leadership of that organization actively and openly supported racist and anti-immigrant attacks on undocumented workers, including violent assaults at the Mexican border, setting up what was known as a wet line, and that no individual leader of the United Farm Workers spoke up against that in the 70s. No one. No one. So that you can both be a victim and a perpetrator, and that no one should be on a pedestal.
I picked up Teresa Bonpane and took her to the rally, and some of you, if you've read her book, and if you haven't, I have 8 more copies. But she was a part of the movement, and she worked right alongside Cesar Chavez and Dolores Huerta, and so she's been really dealing with all of this. She didn't know what was happening, but she also had some other experiences as the white woman in the movement, trying to bring up 2 kids, which is a different. So she had some different. You'll read it if you read the book, but it's really hard for people who were really close to all of that, and so, you know, she struggled to say anything about it for a while, and then she was trying to pass it around to a few people just to say, you know, kind of check it out before she sent it to more people. But it's a very devastating time, and it just reminds me how important it is to abolish the patriarchy, you know, and we don't talk about that a lot right here.
Two very strong comments. One in reference to what Daria said, would these people vote? I have to say, at this point, vote for what, specifically? More importantly, the Democratic Party is in a hot seat right now. They advertise themselves as a big tent, and I look back at the last election. I got numerous texts and emails saying, would I vote for Kamala no matter what? You know, keeping that in mind, she did not, the platform did not include Palestinians. That upset me greatly. I still ended up voting for her, but I wasn't going to make that commitment in front of them. So, you know, when I listen to what is going on here, I am reminded historically of a lot of the things that happened. I mean, this West Los movement, I would say that is the great niece or nephew of the underground movement, where people actually looked out for each other because they understood there was something wrong here and it needed to be addressed. Now, the question, I think, comes back as a faith-based institution because, you know, and I'll pose that to both you and Kim in reference. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. saw himself as someone who was very strongly tied to Jesus. In fact, he said in one of his statements, if we are wrong, Jesus of Nazareth is wrong in that. And he is exhorting his followers to more or less stand up behind injustice. Injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere. So I'm saying specifically, obviously, every pastor doesn't feel that way. Otherwise, we'd see, you know, the whole thing out in the street. So I'm specifically asking, you know, where do we and where do many of these pastors who have that sense, that are willing to back them, what do they see as a future within this, if nothing else, an appeal to the Democratic Party to take more of a stance here?
I mean, okay. He was asking that. I'm going to just respond. You know, there's been a long time, and I guess, you know, the book that you have been reading about white Christian nationalism. Have you all been reading a book about that? Yeah. That, you know, going back to Frederick Douglass, who talked about the Christianity of the land versus the Christianity of Christ. Now, Christianity of the land was the slaveholders' Christianity, where they were, you know, taking the Bible and cutting the book of Exodus out. You know, that kind of thing. You know, so people of faith, you have to ask, what is that faith supporting? Always asking that. And even during the civil rights movement, there weren't all of the black churches where people were behind the civil rights movement. You know, probably, 20%, maybe 30%? So, you know, we just have to keep working for justice. And you know, there were people that unfortunately looked at Dr. King and said, well, you know, what does this have to do with our salvation of our souls? You know, so what happens when we organize? And, you know, people a lot of times ask me, Church in Ocean Park, what are they doing? Got all different people of all different, you know, traditions, and, you know, and I say, well, we are organized around justice. And that's what we are organized around, which is different than being organized around a certain set of beliefs. So I just say we got to call for people to be organized around justice.
Thank you.
I just like to say I'm sort of obsessed about thinking about our current situation in this country and what we can or need to or should or are able to do. And I believe the Constitution, for whatever it's worth, sets up political moments. And during primary season, there's a time to challenge people who assume that they have the right to represent people in one party or another, who often, within the Democratic Party, pursue that out of careerist and pay for your electionist goals. So whenever I'm in DSA, which says they're very political, they don't want to have anything to do with the Democratic Party. But I think at this moment, the most positive effect progressives or people wanting a more just society can do is to help the Democratic Party get a majority and then push progressive candidates within it and candidates who can win, and then push victories in swing districts. With that in mind, I don't think our concern here in left wing, except for Steve Miller, Santa Monica, is voting. I think it's campaigning in purple districts in California to try to take back the House. I think primary season is too late. I think we missed a lot of it, or maybe all of it. So we're stuck with the candidates we have. But I think that's and it means supporting people at some point that we don't completely like or that support something horrendous that we don't approve of. And then if they get reelected or get elected, holding their feet to the fire once they have an effective voice. And I think we need to think about the fact that the rules of the House are winner takes all. One party gets one more vote than the other, and everything right now from our side is just speechifying because they control the agendas in all the committees and the speakership. So, you know, we might think, let's vote, that's it. No. If you read the Constitution and then look what we can get away with, look what they can get away with. Try to figure out how to be most effective if we can even be effective.
Hi, I'm Jean. There was another event scheduled yesterday, which I really wanted to participate in. There's a nature center down at White Point in San Pedro, and they had a native plant sale and a tour of the garden. And I had to go there. And then the plan was to go to Torrance afterwards because they have so much parking and so close to us. So we went to this garden, but I had no idea that it was going to merge into my ideas about what's happening in this country. Because the docent who took us around was so knowledgeable about all the plants and showing us these are medicinal and this one was used for building and so on, and what the beliefs of the Tongva people were and how they use this plant. There are 4 centers. One of them was medicinal. One of them was for building, plants that are used for building. And she was showing us that the entire 4 acres on which this center sits was weeds 10 years ago, the entire thing. And little by little, volunteers have gone in there and taken out the invasive plants and put in native plants. And she explained to us which native plants were doing better and in what locations and so on. But the main idea that I wanted to talk about was she showed us 2 plants that looked almost identical. One of them was native and one of them was invasive, a little yellow flower. And I said, well, how do you tell the difference? And she said, if you put your hands down at the base of the plant and pull, the native plant will not come out, but the invasive plant will pull up with the roots. And so native plants have a taproot that goes really deep, and that's why they can survive dry weather, because they get the water from below the surface. So it just kind of came to me that all this organizing, all this community building is building taproots. The government is not organized. They are in chaos all the time. And even though what looks like winning on their part, and so much cruelty and all that kind of stuff, they're completely disorganized. They're not keeping records. They don't plan ahead. And so if we just keep organizing and hanging in there, I really believe that change will happen.
All right, we're going to thank you so much for all your comments. It's been beautiful. Was there one more?
Hi, I'm Ann. I just really quickly wanted to thank Julie. Oh, she left. Oh, okay. And I wanted to say that the trainings by Wes Loos are great, and everyone should do them. Everyone, no matter, even if you think you have no time and no energy, and you should do them. And here's an example. I was on the phone a few days ago with my sister in San Francisco who has gone through a similar training there. And she said, oh my God, Ann, I just got a text alert that ICE might be a couple blocks away and they're looking for someone to go check it out. What do I do? What do I do? And I'm like, I was trained by Wes Loos, but I'm so busy that I was never able to do anything. I said to my sister, okay, you've got to go immediately and you've got to go together with your husband and take your camera and check it out. And it was just so cool because I had that training from Wes Loos that I was able to coach my sister through it. Turned out not to be ICE. It was private security at some lumber yard. But, I mean, that is the type of thing that we all need to be telling our friends and families, because every single person can be trained to understand how to recognize ICE and how to recognize potential danger for people. So I just really wanted to thank Julie because she got me into this. And thank you, Janet, for making this space available.
Okay, how many of you have that hotline in your phone right now? Not nearly enough of you. That's all I want to say. You should be ready for when they come.
Yes, they.
It's on the flyer. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Real quick.
Just a little tactical thing. A little tactical thing. They use stingers on us at our demonstrations, which is a fake mobile cell phone box that was invented in Israel to collect everybody's phone information. So I haven't heard this, but I think if people are going to go to photograph, they should do it with a device that's not online through the phone network or even through Wi-Fi, which probably means actually taking a camera. Otherwise, they're liable to start protecting themselves with stingers and collect the phone numbers of everybody who comes to stop them.
When I was doing this with at the Methodist Church when we were fighting for queer rights, they said there was some way you can that it gets uploaded immediately. Your video would get uploaded immediately. So if your phone is taken, the people who you want to have the video already has it. I don't know if that's still available, but I can find out. We have one more. Then we have to move on.
This is only for the West Los Angeles area, that's right? Because I live in South Central, so this wouldn't do me any good if I see ICE. Like, is there a number that I can call for them? Call that number and I'll tell you. Oh.
Yeah, that number knows all the other numbers. So, all right, well, let's take a moment of silence, and then it'll be broken with a song.
Gather your courage into your hearts. When we're together, we can start. Gather your courage into your heart. When we're together, we can start. This is another call and response. So I'm going to say a line, and you'll see. I really like when you all sing. Gather your courage into your heart. When we're together, we can start. Gather your courage into your heart. When we're together, we can start. Everybody show up.
Everybody show up.
Everybody rise up.
Everybody rise up.
Everybody wise up.
Everybody wise up.
Everybody here.
Everybody here.
Okay. Gather your courage into your heart. When we're together, we can start. Gather your courage into your heart. When we're together, we can start. Everybody show up.
Everybody show up.
Everybody shake it up.
Everybody shake it up.
Everybody stir it up.
Everybody stir it up.
Everybody here. Everybody here. Gather your courage into your heart. When we're together, we can start. Gather your courage into your heart. When we're together, we can start. We'll sing that a couple more times. Gather your courage into your heart. When we're together, we can start. Gather your courage into your heart. When we're together, we can start. Great. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm here to ask you for something, and Chris's message about the West Los QR code reminded me, because I hadn't done it. I sat there, took me 30 seconds to sign up. But the world of QR codes, which sort of came back, I think, with COVID, is pretty amazing. So we have one for the church here as well, and I'm going to pass it around. And just as easily as signing up for West Los, you can donate to the church, because we do need your support to keep doing what we do. Actually, to give Janet some heat in her house, if you can believe that. She's been living without heating, and we're going to do that, but all of those things take money. So we do need your support, and we appreciate it. And after I start passing that around, I'm going to pass the bucket and the basket if you want to do the traditional check or money as well. Thank you.
To turn will be our delight, till by turning we come round right. To be simple, 'tis a gift. To be free, 'tis a gift. To come round where we ought to be. And when we get ourselves in the place just right, it will be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend we will not be ashamed. To turn will be our delight, till by turning we come round right.
Every Sunday you have the opportunity to have signed up to do bread, and what that means is that you buy a loaf of bread and we pass it around, and everybody can take a chunk who wants one. Just remember, there's no grape juice coming. There's just bread. And then speak from their heart for 3 or 4 minutes. So today, who's doing bread? Great. Chaplain Joseph. Oh, wait, hold on. And our bread lady is going to pass around the sign-up sheet in case you want to have a 3-minute spiel. So you can just pass it around, and you can sign up for. Anybody here can do this any Sunday that they sign up.
Okay, today I'm going to talk about something that I usually bring up, things that people don't usually think about. And these little things are very significant and important. Last night I thought about speaking about pets. Now, what does pets have to do with the situation that we are facing today? Pets. Dogs, cats, rabbits. Animals teach us a lot of things. A lot of things. In the Old Testament, we heard of Balaam's ass. Was going to curse the people of Israel, and it was the ass that recognized the presence of God, and the ass made Balaam realize that he was the ass instead. I wouldn't go into the whole story, but he was the one who was the ass, and the way he treated the animal. There was a counseling session between a couple, and the wife had accused the husband of ill treatment and abuse and cursing and so on. And we could not get anywhere with the couple because it was a he said, she said situation. And I asked the couple if they had pets. Pets? What pets have to do with this now? And they said, yes, we have a dog. How long have you had the dog with you in the family? They said about 8 or 9 years. I said, okay, well, what does that have to do with? Well, I asked the question, I asked the wife, when the husband is abusive and when he's cursing and so on at you, do you see the dog has any change of attitude or change of behavior and so on? And the husband started to ask, well, what does that have to do with that? But the wife said, yes. As she said, every time it happens, the dog behaves in a certain way. The dog behaves in a certain way. It whines and it doesn't wag its tail and it goes around. And she describes how the dog reacts. And eventually, to make a long story short, it was the husband now who realized that the wife was always the person who recognized the reaction of the dog to the situations. And he was so flabbergasted and so, he realized now that it was time to own up and to say that, well, yes, he used to do so and so and so. So it was the dog, the behavior of the dog, that brought the relationship back to a proper understanding of each other. So I said to myself, I wonder if pets have anything to do with the presidency. Yes, it does. It does. Andrew Johnson was the first president in 1860 not to have a pet, not to have a dog or a pet. And he was the first president to be impeached. So since 1860, the only president who has not had a pet was our present president. Our present president. To cut a long story short, maybe he needs a dog in the presidency.
Hey, Chaplain Joseph always has a different take.
No. Reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a better place.
This is our circle, guys.
If you can, reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a better place. If you can, reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a better place. If you can, reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a better place. If you can.
Welcome to our closing circle. This is our joys. You can share joys or concerns or birthdays.
Well, I think this is the last Sunday of Women's History Month. And so we will end up with singing a song that, actually a friend of mine wrote this song, Pat Humphreys, and she's in the group Emma's Revolution. Yeah. And she wrote this song in a singing workshop, and it was used at the International Women's Convention in Beijing. And a lot of people kept telling her, you didn't write it, but we know when and where this was written. We're gonna keep on walking forward. Keep on walking forward. Keep on walking forward. Never turning back. Never turning back. We're gonna light the night together. Light the night together. Light the night together. Never turning back. Never turning. We're gonna work for peace and justice. We're gonna work for peace and justice. Work for peace and justice. Work for peace and justice. Never turning back. Never turn. We're gonna keep on moving forward. We're gonna keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward.
never turning back, never turning back. No, we're never turning back, never turning back.
And now, as you go from this place, let's not be the people who say hallelujah and hosanna on Palm Sunday and acquiesce to the empire on Friday. Let's not be those people. There's many things that we can do. And we're going to say together, carry on. We're going to raise our hands at the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Carry on!
Carry on.